to the ones who chose to love me. You two have been amazing people in my life. One day, maybe I would love to help you guys the way you guys helped me in my dark times.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, and when we do talk about it, many of us, well, we are not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com on Facebook or X, at least for now, at Suicide Noted. If you check the show notes, you can learn all kinds of other cool things about this podcast, including our membership. We'd love that kind of support. Special thanks to a recent member, a lifetime member, Sophia. We really appreciate your support. In addition, you can learn about Noted Network, which as of right now is offering podcast training. I am working with two people right now, both former guests here on the Suicide Noted podcast. Elizabeth, who is on episode 4 of the Resiliency Reconsidered podcast, and Alyssa, who I spoke with recently. Our episode for the Suicide Noted podcast is not out just yet, but she is also working on a pretty cool podcast, and her first episode will be out soon. And I'm also working with a few people on the 30-minute memoir. Sounds interesting? Have a look. It is pretty cool. Finally, we are talking about suicide on this podcast, and we don't hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today, I am talking with Brayden. Brayden lives in Texas, and he is a suicide attempt survivor. Hey, Brayden.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, too.
Where are you?
I'm in my neighborhood, just parked in a car, not too far away from my house.
Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
Okay. Brayden in Texas in a car. What kind of car do you got?
Toyota Camry 2013 or 2014 hybrid.
You like it?
Yeah, I really like the car.
I think it's either gray or reddish.
Yeah, it's gray.
God damn, I'm good. So you've been listening to the podcast at some point. You must have stumbled across it?
Yeah, I stumbled upon it probably about a week ago.
All right. A week ago, you found this podcast. All of a sudden, here we are talking.
Yes.
You're in Texas, living your life. Perhaps, and I imagine we'll talk about this, recently contemplating suicide.
I have contemplated suicide for a while now. The way I describe it as, it's like the hidden third option. It feels like when someone gives you like a yes or no question, there's like a whisper in the back of your mind that says that. It's always there. There are things that make it louder and things that make it more quiet. Yeah, it's been louder recently.
Do you remember when you first started hearing it?
I couldn't put like a finger on the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was diagnosed for depression, and you know how they have you filling out those sheets where it's like 1 to 5, do you feel worthless? 1 to 5, are you thinking about killing yourself? And like those were like 4 or 5s for me. And my doctor had to tell my mother, and I just like started crying and just like, I was like, I'm so sorry. It's almost constant at this point. And I was unmedicated at that point. So it was just hard.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. So when was that?
Maybe like 15 or 16.
How'd your mom react when she learned that?
She was very sad. She also has depression. I don't know what extent she has it at, but it made me very upset that she got that upset.
Be really hard. I don't have any kids, but it must be very difficult for a parent to know that perhaps, I don't know, there's a biological component or whatever else is involved, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm scared of having kids, because I don't want them to have my depression. It's almost crushed me so many times. I'm just not a fan of dealing with it.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, it really, really does. Let me back up for a moment and just thank you for talking with me. I didn't do that. Gotta thank people at a minimum. At least you gotta thank them, right?
Yeah,
So we're gonna get into some of the other stuff if you'd like. I'd like to.
sure. Yeah.
From earlier on and 15 and these days. But I'm wondering because you brought up the fact that just last week or so you reached out, you found the podcast. You didn't wait very long to reach out.
Yeah.
So take me through what was going on last week. You search for something, you find it, and then you contact me. What was up last week?
Well, I have been going through the motions of my suicidal ideation. It's been pretty strong these past few weeks. I don't like keeping it hidden from people, especially people I care about, because this type of stuff, it feels like something's broken. And if you leave
Mm.
something broken long enough, it could be like lethal or it can hurt someone like very badly. I'm not a fan of just keeping these parts hidden. Like I like to think of it almost like I have like a broken bone or like an organ's been punctured or something. Just it, even though it's for those cases, it's more of a physical thing. For me, it's emotional or mental, and it's there, but it's not visible at all.
But was last week something a spark?
I'm an artist, and I want to try to bring awareness to stuff like this.
Mm.
And so I thought this would be a unique opportunity. Gives me a chance to share my story and
Yeah.
everything I've kind of gone through in this battle. And I want to try to create like suicidal awareness art. It's a niche that I feel like hasn't been addressed as much, especially when we're in an age that mental health is a huge, huge problem. It feels like that's maybe something I can do to help in my own way.
Suicidal awareness art. Like we're talking about like fine art.
Yeah, I'm right now. I like to do a lot of traditional art, but I'm trying to lean into digital side of things. One day, maybe if I like do become a good artist or a great artist, I would like to do that as well as that would be like my personal project. But I also like doing creatures for creature design and stuff like that. People who do like dragons for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, Godzilla, stuff like that. Those artists are like they're amazing to me.
That's really cool. And you're comfortable enough to talk with me, and then other people will hear this, which is cool.
It is.
Did you actually listen to any episodes?
I did. I like to listen to some of the recent ones, and I like to hear ones from the male side of the audience because that is more relatable to me.
Not as many.
Yeah.
Do you think when this comes out, you'll be able to hear your own voice? Some people struggle with that.
I have done some recordings in the past. I'm okay with it, though I don't like love the sound of my own voice. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I can't tell you how often I'm listening to my own voice because I have to edit. I'm like, oh God, Sean.
Hmm.
Do you have an attempt or near attempts or a sort of the ideation thing?
I've had 3 attempts.
Do you remember the first time you really thought about it?
When I started doing online school, this was during COVID, it kind of just threw my whole world for a loop.
Mm.
It was, I used to go to a public school and I was an all A student. I was really, really good at it. And then I go to this online school and this stuff's a lot harder, lot harder. And I'm going from all A's to B's and C's to sometimes failing grades. And I was like, this stinks. And I didn't have great study habits because whenever they would give me work at public school, I would just take the paper and just like finish out all the homework right then and there and turn it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really homework for me. I just do it there.
Now everything's homework.
Yeah, now everything's homework. And when I put this effort into it, I still get like bad grades. I'm not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to make my parents proud or make it feel like this is worth their money by having a son who can meet these higher expectations.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
So the schooling is hard. Your grades are not going good. Are there other things happening in your life that gets you to a point where you start kind of thinking?
Well, I lost all my public school friends. I'm not the best at texting or whatever. So it's just like we all slowly drifted apart. And so I didn't have a lot of physical friends anymore. Creating those relationships does help me get through life a lot more. And going through these hard times, having no one but some like online friends to comfort me, I was like, I just really want to die. Like there was no other way to put it. It was just a struggle for me.
Does first attempt come before or after that day at the doctor's office where you checked
It
for?
comes after.
So you go to the doctor, you check the box, you're honest about that. The doctor talks to
Yes.
your
Oh, yeah.
mother, she feels bad, you feel bad that she feels bad.
Yeah.
And then what happens in that space between like, is there meds or therapy or what happens?
I believe I go to therapy and they
Mm-hmm.
start medicating me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the medication worked that well. There wasn't really like anything that the medications made easier.
And so how much time goes by before you try?
It's really hard to say. It might have been like the early summer, or not early summer, late summer of 2021. And I made an attempt October of 2021.
3+ years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to remember because it was 3 years ago and a lot has happened since then. But I believe I just got so frustrated with myself for like disappointing my family, or I felt like I was disappointing my family. They did not see it that way, but I was very much like frustrated with myself, and I attempted to hang myself with a bed sheet, and I tried for a good amount of time. I just couldn't figure out how to tie the knot properly. And I was also scared to look that up because my parents would sometimes like browse what we were searching and whatever. And if they had their kid look up how to tie a noose, then they're going to start panicking. And so I kind of like calmed myself and I was like, I don't know, maybe this was stupid or maybe I'll do another day.
It must be like a really funky, weird space to be in, to say, I'm going to try to end my life, and you can't figure it out. But you try for a while, all that time, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're doing the thing, and then you're like, okay, not today. And then, you know, if you've heard the podcast, I always tend to wonder, like, well, what happens then? Like, what's it like after that? Like, you just you came close, and then you're getting in your gray car, and you're what? You're going to the store?
Well, for one, I wasn't driving then. If I could
Oh,
drive,
right.
maybe my social life would have been a little better. But yeah, it was like a weird sense because I'd stopped caring about the grades as much just because I was like, is it really this worth it? That like I want to end my life over it? That should I really be trying this hard for A's or even B's? And all it's doing in return is bringing me more pain. And then things got worse about like a month afterward, where I made my second attempt. It was the Monday after Thanksgiving. So after that break and everything, those breaks were
Mhm.
amazing for me. It was one of those situations that makes the voices quieter.
You mean voices or?
It's more just like kind of like a thought in the back of your head. There's like a constant like emotional pain for me, and that it's like whenever you're running and you have a pain in your leg, it's like your body's telling you to stop, do something. For this, it's more just like stop, just end it, just silence it all. It'd be a lot more peaceful that way. You'd probably have like a true peace.
And what was I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say the second attempt was a different method.
It was, yes. I attempted to overdose on sleeping medication. I normally take one pill. I like took like 6 or 7. Yeah, it wasn't enough. And I didn't know that at the time. I was like, my plan was that I would take this medication. I'd like go to sleep and I never wake up. Like I wouldn't feel any of that hurting. And like that made sense to me. Because killing yourself is a hard thing to do, especially if it's painful. Even if it's like instant, it's gonna hurt a lot, I think, in any way you look at it. And it probably, if I did do a proper lethal amount to kill me, then it still would have hurt a lot, but I don't think it would have killed me. After that second attempt, I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. I later figured out by one of the counselors, this was an interesting experience. But like when I told them that I attempted to overdose via sleeping medication, he was like, "Do you realize that that medication is herbal and that it is almost physically impossible to overdose yourself
Mhm.
and kill yourself based off that?" And like all the other kids like kind of started laughing about that. That like, okay, I was a suicide attemptee, but like I just didn't know how to do it properly. And it was weird to be laughed at by that.
Yeah. Did you tell anyone?
I never told anyone about the first one until I came back from the psychiatric hospital from the second one. There was like a double layering to the second attempt because I took those pills and went to bed, and I woke up the next morning and I was furious. I was really upset. It was early in the morning. I had loads of schoolwork to do, And I remember going out to the kitchen and grabbing like a big knife and whatever. And I was planning on just like starting to saw away like at my legs and stuff like that, just start cutting myself. I was really, really set to do it. And then my little brother walked into the room because he's like going to get cereal and stuff like that. And I saw him, he's happy and everything, or he's doing all right.
Mhm.
And I was like hiding the knife away. I don't know, just seeing him kind of like broke me. I was like, what am I doing? And so I ended up calling the suicide hotline and I told them that like try to kill myself and I do want to die. And
Mm.
then that's when the cops came, put me in the ambulance, drove me to the ER. The ER drove me to the hospital, the psychiatric hospital.
Were the cops polite?
I mean, yeah, they were nice. They weren't aggressive or anything. I think they knew that like I wasn't in like a mood to like fight them or anything. If I was going through that experience again, it would have been nice to just like talk with them because I love connecting with people just to
Hmm.
see like what's going through their head and everything. If this was like a normal occurrence and that they've been desensitized to it, or if they like genuinely feel like really bad for me.
And I know you shared a little bit about what happened in the hospital. What else happened there? Was it positive, not so positive, somewhere in between?
Well, the way they made it seem was they told me at the beginning is like just see this as a vacation.
Oh, okay.
And I go there and I'm like, okay, that sounds nice. I had like plans in my head that I was like, I was going to work on my art. I was going to learn to physically improve myself, just like do like push-ups in the morning, sit ups, stuff like that.
Right.
And like have like a nice room where I can draw, color, stuff like that, and really work on myself. And
Mm.
then
Yep.
I go in there, I like hug my parents goodbye, and then they escort me into the actual like hospital part, and they sit me down in like a very crappy, fully plastic chair. It's not comfortable at all. These tough looking techs everywhere, the people who help the patients and everything. Some look like they care a lot, others do not at all. And I remember looking to my right, yeah, where all the rooms are for everyone to sleep. One of the fluorescent lights is like flickering and everything. And I see people walking through the hallways. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a horror movie. I'm
Yep.
gonna die. This doesn't feel like a vacation at all. I'm terrified. And then
Right.
they escort me to one of those rooms, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll at least have a room to myself. And I lay down in the bed and I look across the other side of the room, and there's a huge other guy. He was also because at that time I wasn't admitted to the adult wing, so I was still very young. But there, he was a massive dude, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I step on his toes wrong or whatever, he'll probably actually kill me. I didn't know if that was a comforting thought at the time or a scary thought. But I
Wow.
was like,
That's an interesting way to look at it.
yeah,
Right. Happy vacationing, Brayden.
yeah. But later on, like at one of his last days, I actually connected with the guy, and he was a really nice guy.
Cool.
Really, really nice guy.
When people talk about their stays in the hospitals, more than anything else, what I hear is, I've had a few connections with the other patients.
Yeah, there were fights almost daily. Yeah, some of the guys are there for completely different reasons. Like one of my
Mhm.
best friends there, I would say he got in there because he was accused for stealing cars. He stole two and got caught on the third. It was weird because I was like, okay, we have completely different problems, and also everyone here is kind of broken in their own way. Whether it's like me, who like if someone got in a fight with me, I wouldn't care. I'd be okay with them like beating me half to death or to death. And then there's these people here who are so easily manipulated into anger that they just like immediately start fighting. And then there's some kids there with mental disabilities, like very seriously autistic.
Wait, it's a shit show. They throw everybody in there.
Yeah, exactly. And
You know what it is? It's a big Disney vacation. All kinds of people are welcome.
yeah,
I want to add something, and I won't go off on this because if you've heard the podcast, maybe if you've only listened to a few episodes, you haven't heard me rant. I'm not going to rant. I do want to tell you something. Something about the image of these like shitty plastic chairs that you were first sitting on when you got into that place. Nowhere, at least for me, where I go that has super comfortable chairs, my bank. Maybe it's just my bank. Very, we want you to be comfortable. Relax, enjoy yourself. We're going to do some financial transactions here. Take your time. Here's some coffee, blah, 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 right? Not at a hospital.
yeah, it's a little backwards when you really think about it.
Oh, I really think about it.
Yeah.
All right, I laugh. I'm not laughing at this shitty situation. It's just absurd. Do you get how long do you stay in there for?
I only stayed in there for a week. Some people there who have been there for months and
Yeah.
some almost a year. These are kids. They're not adults. It was really sad to see like a kid that like really wanted to get out,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he has to stay there for months and months because his parents won't take him back. Very sad.
When you get out, what happens? I'm pretty sure it is not smooth sailing. Obviously, we're not talking here today if it were super smooth sailing and has been since, but
Yeah.
what's going on then for you?
Well, I get a pretty good streak going. It's 3 years before my next attempt again. They get me back into an actual physical school. It's not a whole lot easier, but it's easy enough and manageable for me because also school learning, a big part of it is connecting with the teacher and having them answer it right then and there instead of texting a teacher you have even seen before and they get back to you in 2 or 3 hours. And so
Right.
those immediate connections definitely help me a lot. So I go to the school and make some pretty good friends. I mean, the first year is a bit rougher around the edges, but things get better and I start like living life.
Okay. And you're living life. And then I have a feeling sometime in maybe summer.
There were two significant things that happened during those 3 years. For one thing you need to know about me is that as a kid, I wanted to be the best at something, like to make people proud of me or something. And so as a young kid, I was really fast. And so I would do track and I was really good at track, but I wasn't the best at it. And I get really competitive and I'd want to be the best, but I'd never be the best at it. That kind of died out. Then I would like try to be the best academically to make my parents proud. And I do these extracurricular like competitions and stuff. And I do really good at those right at the beginning of it. But then kids would just grow and be better at them than me. And I would give up on that too. That was also probably one of the reasons why I attempted in the first place was because I felt so insignificant. Like I wanted to be great. I wanted to do something. I'd want to change the world. I want to not have life like steer me, but me steer my life, just to have my own control. And so in these 3 years, I ended up dating my first girlfriend. That like scratched that itch in me to be the best at something. Like I felt like I was the best for this person, and it really made me happy.
Hmm.
And so rather than waking up and feeling like, what's my purpose to keep going in life right now, is rather I'd wake up and I'd be like, this person has a whole lot of value, like finds value in me. Even if I don't find value in myself, I would gladly keep on going just for this person. Now, did I do a great job in that relationship? No, because I did not know what I was doing and I'd overthink everything. That is completely on me. I was terrified. Inevitably, she dumped me and it was a logical decision and it was her choice. But I hated not having that control or anything, like that we could talk through it or try to fix something because I also like to problem solve because making other people happy makes me happy. Not getting that chance really, really hurt me. I remember after getting kind of dealing with those emotions, I had a best friend who she would comfort me. And she did a great job because she knew that I was in a place of hurting, but she knew more than others how much like comfort I needed from
Mhm.
friends and stuff like that. Because guys aren't the best at like that personal connection, or some are, but it's not like everyone.
Yeah, I mean, especially not at 17.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that person really helped me through that. And it did teach me that like I do need support when things really do get hard. But also I didn't know how to deal with it myself. And she helped so much that I didn't really get to learn how to deal with that myself. And later on, I keep continuing to be best friends with her. She's an amazing person. But then I ended up asking her out and we ended up dating. It was lovely. It was out of the two relationships I've had, it was the best relationship I've ever had. I don't know, like 10% to 100%. There was just, we would do a lot more, we would, a lot more. We would talk to each other a lot more. And I remember making a promise to myself that I'd give everything for her, whatever. But then one day she told me that there was a struggle that she was having that was really hard for me. I don't know, the attraction wasn't the same anymore, or that she wasn't really attracted at all,
Mm,
or physically at least. That kind of broke me.
yeah.
I remember like driving home that day and I was like distraught. Like I was like so 100% attracted to her in every aspect. but she couldn't reciprocate that for me. And then thoughts started coming in because she didn't break up with me there, but thoughts started coming in like, should I break up with her? Like, I don't want her to be stuck with someone the rest of life that she's not physically attracted to. And she deserves someone better if she really wants that, because I love her so much that I'd put that over myself. And I'm heartbroken. So I give it a couple months. I think it over. A lot of people tell me just like, yeah, break up with her immediately. And some people tell me like, talk to her about it. And I did also promise her that I would talk about these problems. But in the summer of 2024, around July, I ended up breaking up with her. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done because I would have loved to continue going with her. But I felt like it was selfish of me to keep going on with her. That really hurt. I didn't go through that grieving immediately. It was almost like postponed because I still had that small hope in my heart that she would come back to me one day. Maybe she would refine that about herself because we're 19 and it said that the brain doesn't develop until age 25. So I was hoping maybe she would find that again. If it was truly meant to be, then it would happen. And so I would go to work, go to these jobs. I'd have that like thought in the back of my brain, like, man, I miss her. I wonder how she's doing. I'd like to hang out with her, maybe see if she's would like to try. 4 months pass or something like that. I give in. I ask her out to a cup of coffee, not like ask her out like on a date, but rather just like if she just wanted to chat. And we did. We chatted. We had a lovely time. I enjoyed it. We continue. And then I remember talking to her after, and she explained a situation. It was like completely on her side in that I couldn't do anything about it. She had her own struggle that kind of prevented her being in a relationship with me. It was sad because it was like almost that could never happen again. And so from going from having hope to zero hope crushes me. That's when the kind of like grief of a relationship really hits me. And I'm working, and I would work for these past 4 months at this job that pays me pretty well. And I wouldn't miss a beat or a day. And I go and I start having like mental health days because I am just torn up because that possibility, that hope is just gone. And now when I think about her, it only brings me pain. And she's a lovely person. And I hate that because she was my best friend who helped me through this pain. And now it's like almost completely the opposite. She's like triggering the pain. And I go through some like crappy interactions with her, like just saying like, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I could do to help you or help me. Like that I'm a very, very adaptable person and I very much care. And I would love to fight for these things that I care for because I would like to be the best for her that she was for me. After she turned me down when I said like, there's nothing I could do, I was like, okay, I promised I would give her everything I had to offer. So why am I still alive? Like I truly did give her like my mind, body, and soul. And without her, it just felt like I was a husk and I just wanted to die. So that day I went into the bathroom and I started trying to poison myself with like a lot of like acne medication or like stuff they put in. And I was just starting to drink all of it as much as I could of each, like the soap, the stuff, just anything, hoping that like maybe there'd be like a chemical reaction that like it would burn or like cause me to choke out or like melt my insides. And it tasted awful and it burned. I still have like a little bit of like a burning sensation here, but that was very recently. I want to say like maybe it was November 19th.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. I was crushed.
Yeah.
And I ended up throwing up and passed out. And so I like threw up almost all of it and I just passed out. And then I remember the next day waking up to my work alarm. And I was like, man, I have to go to work now. It's like, but I also have to clean this up. So I ended up cleaning up all this residue that was evidence of my attempt, getting ready for work and going to work. Since this is a lot more fresh, it was like, it's a very ghostly like thing that like, it was like, I'm here, but I'm seeing all these things. I'm seeing how these people are interacting with me. And how different would it be if they found out I was dead? Or maybe if they didn't find out I was dead and that just I wasn't here at work today. It's like they don't know how much I've been hurting and that they couldn't know. And so that's also been like kind of a motivation for me is to make mental health more in the spotlight because it is a problem, but it's not a physical problem. And so started sharing my story with people.
Oh, yeah?
Hmm.
How'd they respond to that?
They're very nice. Some people are a lot better at it than others
Mm-hmm.
because there's obviously the professionals who are pretty good at it. And then there are people who you tell them and they're like, oh, and they just don't like respond at all. Like no
Mm-hmm.
comfort, no nothing. They just keep going on, which is a little hard because you're like, I care for you as a person because I think you care for me. And then whenever they don't respond at all, it's like, oh, wow, I guess you don't care for me as much as I thought you did.
Cared for you more when I didn't know that stuff.
Yeah. A good, funny guy type thing.
Yeah, everybody likes a good funny guy, which is a great memoir title, but maybe not yours.
Yeah.
So that was only a few weeks ago.
It was, yeah.
In that time, you came across this podcast, obviously, and listened a
Yep.
little bit.
I actually got to listen to a lot of it because when I'm doing stuff at work, I can listen to podcasts. And so I've like listened to, I want to say at least like 8 or 9 episodes.
Oh, you got
And
a long way to go, Brayden. You got a long
yeah,
way
I
to
do.
go. No, that's cool that you found it if it brings you any sort of something. But we're here and other people will get to hear this, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I do too.
Let me just jump right into the pink and purple pill because it just happened. Your attempt was a few weeks ago. You know what it is?
Yeah, I know what it is.
I give Brayden a pink and purple pill and he takes it if he chooses. And should he take it, goes to sleep, no pain, doesn't wake up. Nobody knows it's a suicide. He obviously dies. So if I give you that pill right now, what do you think you would do with it?
I don't think I would take it
Okay.
because there's obviously still like a lot left I have in life, but it's hard to keep going right now. And I actively want to get better. Like, I don't want to feel this crappy all the time. And there are some people I hear on this podcast too. They've had that shift in their perspective that they have gotten better after it,
Mhm.
like going from making these numerous attempts to not many at all, whether that's like a form of therapy or medication that they've had for that. Like I would like something like that. So I want to give a chance for that. I want to help people. Like I would like to one day be friends with that lovely person again, my second ex. But right now I just can't do that. Even though she means like so much to me, I know it would just be like burning myself for her sake. But she's going through her own hard times, and I would like to be a helpful person to her because she helped me through one of my hardest times, and I would like to repay that debt at least. Just to be a person in like another person's life that's like going through my struggles and not saying like them like it'll get better, blah blah blah. Do you know there's people who are invited onto podcasts who are like mental health experts and whatever, and they're like,
Oh, yes, I
yeah,
do.
yeah, and they're like, it'll get better, don't worry, or whatever. But they're saying that because they're outside of that problem.
Sometimes they're never even in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like a person who I'm in that struggle. Like I have to wake up every day and deny myself like that secret option that my body wants because it's hurting is just for it to end. So I want it to end and I have to wake up every morning and
Yeah.
deny that pleasure of having like a peace. I don't think anyone like really knows what happens after you die. So it's inevitably a gamble, whether it's like fiery flames of hell or you're reincarnated or you're like into the void or you go to heaven.
Right.
No one really knows. And I'm like so close to a point that I'd maybe even be willing to take that gamble. People say people who commit suicide are cowards. I don't think they're really cowards because it's very brave to do something like take your own life, even though your body is designed to keep going in life, to keep living, to continue that. And you're telling your body, no, we're not having none of that. But I do think it's a little braver to keep going, even when the pain is this unbearable.
Mm. And you're talking to me from your car.
I am, yes.
So is this a bit of a secret, this conversation?
Not really. I don't plan on keeping it a secret. I'll probably like post it on my social media,
Mm.
along with like my batches of art that I'm working on.
I want to be connected to your art.
Thank you.
That's suicide no to be connected to your art. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So you don't take the pill.
I would keep it.
Right.
I don't think I would take it immediately or throw it away. I'm still at a point that I would like to die, but I would also like to die for a purpose. Diving in front of a bullet to save someone or something like that, that'd be a way I'd be willing to go out. But
Yeah.
just for complete nothing, I'd still like that, but I can't. I can't right now, or I can't for a while, or I maybe just can't in life right now.
You going home after our talk?
Yeah, I'll drive back after this
I mean, you're
and
gonna say you're gonna be like, hey, I just had this. I don't know, just talked to this dude in North Carolina for about an hour or whatever about suicide. That's not a conversation that's happening today, I don't think.
yeah, probably not today. I just tell them that I've wanted to be on this podcast and that I think it'd be a cool experience.
Oh,
And
you do they know what the podcast is about?
my mother does. I don't know about my father. Yeah, a lot of people, I just tell them that I'm going on a podcast soon. They're like, "Oh, that's cool," and whatever. And they're like, "What's it about?" And I was like, I'll send you it once it's out or something like that."
Yeah, okay. Fascinating if they actually heard it like after when it comes out and you tell them and like, they hear it.
I don't know. I think it'll help bring awareness and maybe it'll get the ball rolling for something like my art to have more of an impact. Like I said, it's a little weird to have professionals who don't struggle with these problems deal with these problems.
Yeah.
And rather than someone who's going through these problems, kind of like help bring light to the problem makes a bit more sense to me.
And the whispers that you brought up rather early in our conversation, how often are they whispering?
Every day they're there. Even if it's like logical or illogical, like if someone's like, can you do this? Yes or no. And then I have a thought in the back of my head that's like, just end it, just kill yourself. It's like, it's not even worth it. And sometimes it's louder, like right now, it's a lot louder. Other times it's a lot quieter because I have something else that I can live for.
Mm,
And right now, I'm trying to find my own reason to live for. And so I'm trying to find these connections, these things to help other people because helping other people helps me.
yeah. Did you ever get a diagnosis you think is accurate?
I've never had a psychiatric evaluation.
Hmm.
I know I
You were
have
you were in you were in a hospital for a week. You never had a psych eval?
I don't believe so, no.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. We're trying to get one soon, as well as like a genetic testing, because I know that there are certain medication works for certain people. And so we're trying to see if that would work for me and get a psychiatric evaluation just to see what I may have, because they know I have depression. They know I ideate about suicide, but that's about it. I've heard like the words like borderline personality disorder,
Hmm.
like thrown across. Is it 100% accurate? I don't know. Definitely, there are a lot of attributes that would describe me as a person, but there are also a lot of things about borderline personality disorder that, like, I question. Like, I've heard that there's a large controversy around it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not like as up to date, or people
Right.
don't like exactly know what it is, and it's just kind of like saying that person has a problem, and we don't really know how to deal with it.
It might be that way sometimes, right? Yeah. If you needed someone to talk to and you wanted to talk about the whispers or ideating and you wanted to do it in a way where you felt like, they would listen pretty well and you weren't at risk of them, rushing you off to a hospital, like how many people do you have like that, if any?
That's a good question because I definitely don't know like what's in their mind that would like if they have something in place that they're like, okay, I need to call somebody about this for this person. I haven't pushed a relationship that far to that extent yet. It's great to like dump these problems on strangers and stuff like that because
Right.
it's like they don't know you a whole lot and I don't know them a whole lot, but we can just exchange like our problems. We just kind of like drain all that like crappy energy that's like built up inside you. And even though the next day it's probably going to be filled again, and you're going to have to drain it again. It does just feel nice to just talk to these people, even if you don't know them or you do know them. It's pretty nice. So I don't know how many people I have talked to. I'm sure I have dozens right now, but do I know
Wow.
who they are? Not really, probably.
Does anything help other than I imagine, your art?
Art does help, but I'm very critical about myself with my art. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be strong. I want it to kind of like be good on the first try. Is
Right.
it? No, because I'm in the learning phases and I'm learning these things. And it won't be like that for a while or probably ever. So like I would draw these creatures and stuff like that and it would make me happy at the end, but I wouldn't feel the best while drawing it because in the beginning stages of art, almost all the time it looks crappy,
Hmm.
like right at the beginning, especially if you're trying to mimic something.
Hmm.
Now I'm leaning more into that emotional side, that abstract side of it. I'm not trying to like draw a tree one to one. Maybe I'm just trying to draw like a version of me or like a skull with like an eye or something like that. And I'm not like copying what I see, but rather I'm copying more what I'm thinking about. And it doesn't have to really be wrong. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel good to like draw stuff that like orbits around the idea of death and suicide, but it does like drain that energy out of me.
You'd said that as attempting suicide is not cowardly. And I always ask people about any myths or misconceptions they have around any of this
Yeah.
stuff. So is there anything else that comes to mind that you want to dispel?
Other than what I just said about the act of suicide isn't cowardly because it goes against human nature, and having somebody go against their own nature is brave in its own sense. I do think it is braver for that person to keep going on, even if it is crappy. The people who can go on without feeling crappy and whatnot, those people aren't as brave, in my opinion, though they do have their own degrees, but it's hard to keep going in life when you have a body that's like almost actively fighting against you, or like a mind that it wants death, and you can feel that like emotional pain in you and you want it to end, but you just keep going. And I think those people are the bravest, those ones who have to deal with these like crappy things every single day. Like it's almost like driving a car that has problems and it could blow up at any second, but still keep going rather
Yeah.
than just like give up on it.
Your car's not blowing up, though. It's a pretty nice car.
No, it is. I like it. Yeah, I've named it. Its name's Prince. It's a
Oh,
good
nice.
car.
You named your car Prince. That should be the
Yes.
memoir title. Baby,
Prince. Yeah,
the
sure.
memoir title.
Maybe, yeah.
It's Whisper, something with Prince. I don't know. It's a work in progress, these things.
Yeah.
Whispers of Prince. When is your birthday?
June 20th. I will be 20.
Okay.
And ideally, I would like to have a more consistent income off my art. Because I get
Great.
gigs every now and then, but I would like to maybe start getting to a more place where I can rely on my art quite a bit.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, again, that's just wishful thinking. It's like
Hey, man.
hoping for the best, but I'm playing for the worst, that I will probably be at the job I am now, which is okay. I like the job.
Okay.
It's pretty nice. It's not like I love the work, but I do enjoy the people there, so I'll keep going at that for a while. But I would like to do something a bit more fulfilling with my life.
I hope you can crush it in the art space, both with,
Thank
I mean, make a ton of money, so much so that I can live off of your art, not just you.
Yeah, I would love to be that person for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I imagine right now, you had said earlier about raising awareness specifically around suicide. So I'm going to ask you to do something that I've rarely done.
Okay.
Put you on the spot a little bit. Let's
I like
say there are people out there like you, whatever that means, right? You today, you at 17, you at 15, they're out there, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to them?
I'd like to say that people say there's so much to live for and stuff like that. And I know it doesn't seem like it, but even though it is really hard, and I feel you all in that sense, that it really is hard, and it's probably going to get harder at some point. It's probably going to be worse at some point. But I do think there is always a small, small chance of things getting better, whether it's finding that person who can live for you or whatever, or finding a purpose in that like affects the world, or just finding just some small distraction that can help you get through the next day. Just don't think about it as big as the world is. Just keep going at a smaller pace for you. Even just a little bit longer can probably do wonders.
Even just a little bit longer, yo. The other question I wanted to ask, don't know who you might share this with, don't know who might hear it. I mean, in your life, people that know you. Do you want to, I've never asked this question before, Brayden, ever. Is there something you want to say to a particular person, could be more than one, that might hear this?
To my family, I love you guys, and you are all wonderful people. If I do have a tragic passing or whatever, please keep going without me. Like I'm not planning on suicide or anything, but it is sadly a distinct possibility for me. Some people that's not a possibility for them at all, but for me it kind of is.
Right.
because I've already kind of broken that seal. To my friends, you are all wonderful people. I wish all of you the best. And if I could help carry a bit of your burden, that would mean the world to me. To the ones who chose to love me, you two have been amazing people in my life. One day, maybe I would love to help you guys the way you guys helped me in my dark times. And I know I probably can't help you the same as I used to, but you guys truly are wonderful, wonderful people. Even though right now I'm not in the capacity to help you guys like the way you need to help, I would love to be a good friend to you again one day, at least. And that if you guys ever do need anything big or small, just reach out, even if it's like a complete weird shot in the dark, just like a small favor or a really weird task or whatever. Just talk to me. I like having those fun little conversations, those, even if it's not serious or serious, I'd like that. It'd mean a lot to me. To the world, look out, I'm coming through. I like to think I'll be famous one day. Probably not, but yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Brayden's coming through one way or another in his gray hybrid. I mean, enjoy your day as best you can, and I appreciate it again, Brayden, in Texas.
Okay, thank you. You have a good one too.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. And special thanks to Brayden in Texas. Thank you, Brayden. If you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com on Facebook or X, @suicidenoted. Check the show notes to learn more about this podcast, including our membership and Noted Network. Relatively new domain, but the idea, the work we've been doing, not so new. However, programs, some coaching, some services. Check it out. And that is all for episode number 244. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.